Hello everybody, it's Adam Pembroke again with another video. Today I'm going to talk about our fiat currency. Probably mostly here in the States, but abroad, most currencies, if not all of them, are fiat, F-I-A-T. Look it up. It basically means that it doesn't have any value. It has no intrinsic value. It's not something like gold or silver or real estate or livestock. Nothing. Has no value at all. It only has value because people still accept it. Like our US currency here, people still accept it. That's why we still use it. But it's called fiat currency. It has no value to it. And I'm going to talk to you about some stuff that you should look up. You should look these things up, research them for yourself, just to find the validity in what I'm saying. The Federal Reserve Act, started in 1913. It was passed through Congress in 1913. As I read, it was passed while most of Congress was on Christmas vacation. And there were only a few members of Congress there, and it was passed, you know, in the middle of the night, whatever time of day and night it was passed, the Federal Reserve Act. And what Congress did was they went against the Constitution of the United States when they did that, because the Constitution gives Congress the right and the ability to print money and create the value thereof. It also talks about how the only real money is gold or silver. It's in the Constitution. You go find it. Okay, so they basically gave away their ability, to create money or to use gold and silver as money, and gave it away to the Federal Reserve Bank. The Fed is what they call it. And it's the Federal Reserve Act that they passed into law back in 1913. And it gives the Fed, a private company, the ability to print our cash. That's what I said, a private company. The Fed is a private institution. Just because it's called the Federal Reserve Bank doesn't mean that it's a federal entity. Sounds real pretty, sounds real cute, but no. It is not a federal entity at all. It is private. And today, we don't even know who really owns the Fed. It's somebody. I'm telling you, this is crazy. I've been following people that talk about the Fed, like retired Congressman, Republican Congressman Ron Paul from Texas, Peter Schiff, who owns Euro Pacific. He's a big, both of them, Ron Paul, Peter Schiff, big gold and silver guys, okay? They understand the value in gold and silver, okay? Same thing with Robert Kiyosaki, and there's others, okay? And they understand how our fiat currency in this country and abroad works. So when you think about this, let's talk about something called fractional reserve banking, okay? And basically what it means is, if a bank has, say, $1 billion in cash, then they can loan out to you and me up to 9 or 10 times the amount of money than they actually have. Did you hear what I'm saying? Did you hear that? They can loan out money that they don't actually have. Okay, so when you and I go get a mortgage, a car loan, a credit card, whatever we borrow money for through a bank in this country, the money doesn't even exist. In today's world, it's digits on a computer. And when we go to the closing at the table for that mortgage, we sign all that paperwork. It's just a lot of fluff, really. It's us promising that we're going to pay them back this loan for the house, the car, the credit card, the boat, the camper, whatever it is, okay? But the money doesn't even exist. So listen to this. So the money doesn't exist, okay, but you bought the property, and we have to go to work at a job, blood, sweat, and tears, whatever it takes, get up in the morning, noon, and night to go to this job, to work for the money that we make on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis, And every month we have to make that payment to the house, the car, the credit card, the boat, the camper, whatever it is. We have to go work for the money. Now, the Fed, they just get to print it. Or, in today's case, they get to create it on the computer in the form of digits. How long could that take? A couple minutes? I don't know. But you and I have to go work, physically go to a place and put in our precious time to make dollars to pay them back money that doesn't even, it's not even there. It doesn't even exist. And they created it out of thin air. Ladies and gentlemen, that is modern day slavery, is what that is. That's the way I see it anyway. Modern day slavery. Now, if we go printing bills, we're going to go to prison, right? We go to jail if we go printing bills. But the Federal Reserve Bank can print them. And I guess the way it technically works is the Federal Reserve Bank says, yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Government, you can borrow $10 billion to go to war or for whatever they need. Okay. And then the Treasury, which to my understanding is part of the government, actually prints the money. Okay. And then the government uses the money for whatever, or whether it's printed or it's on digits on a computer, that's the process. And then the government uses the money for whatever they want to use it for. And so it doesn't matter if, we buy the house, the boat, the car, all that stuff. We still have to pay that stuff back to the Fed for money that doesn't even exist. When the government uses money, that 10 billion to go to war or do whatever they do, we the people, in the form of taxes, have to pay it back as well. We have to pay that to the Fed as well, with interest. You guys, this should be sinking into you, and you should be cringing with everything in you. And you know what? Like I said, don't take my word for it. Go research it for yourself. There's so much to learn about the Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank, and fiat currency, and federal fractional reserve banking. So much to learn about it. If you do your digging, you do your research, it's going to make your stomach turn. Makes my stomach turn. Okay. Some people watching this, some of you guys already know. That's probably why you typed it into YouTube. I want to learn more about fiat currency. I want to know alternatives to fiat currency. That's what I'm talking about. What's the alternative to fiat currency? The alternative is gold or silver. That's my opinion. And Carrot bars is all about the gold, the most precious commodity on the planet other than water and food and property. But gold. Gold has been money and is the only real money for thousands of years. It has never went to zero value. And the experts say that every single fiat currency in the history of the planet has eventually went to zero. So what are the chances our currency here in America is going to be the first currency in the history of the planet of having fiat currency to not go to zero? What do you want to bank on? You want to bank on having the first first fiat currency that doesn't go to zero, that still lasts? You want to bet on that? Or do you want to bet on the gold? Gold has always been money. So I hope you guys are really paying attention to this. This is important stuff to know. There's a ton of videos on YouTube. You can go to the Fed's website itself. You can learn about it. Listen, in my last video, I talked about how I used to be a securities broker. Had my Series 6, 63 securities broker's license. My next one was a Series 26 where I could run my own office. I never did that. Never got that license. But when I was in class, for the cram course of my Series 6 and 63, way back in 2000, whatever, 4, 5, whatever it was, 3, I don't remember. I asked the question because I knew this stuff back then. I knew about fiat currency. I asked the question. I said, Mr. Instructor, I got a question. Is the Federal Reserve Bank a private company He says, yes, but it's not on the test. And they continued on. Also, back when I was a Detroit police officer, okay, I worked at a specialized unit, the tactical services section, worked in the same building with the SWAT team and the K-9 unit. For whatever reason, on this particular day, we took a trip to the new Federal Reserve Bank in Detroit. They built a new one on the east side of town, and we got a tour of that place, okay? And I asked the same question. I said, is the Federal Reserve Bank a private company? Is it privately owned? And the answer I got was, yes it is, and no it's not. I don't know, it sounds like a little bit of admission and a little bit of, well, you know, kind of, not really, we kind of own it, whatever. You can look this up for yourself. A great book to read, Creature from Jekyll Island. Explains how the whole Fed was created. Jekyll Island's an island off the coast of Georgia. It's fascinating stuff. So, where are you going to put your money? Where, you know, it's like, so I'm buying gold now through Karatbars, okay? And the company is basically, that's the product, gold. So basically, Karatbars is allowing me to exchange my devaluating fiat currency. Thank God they still take it, right? Something that has no value. Thank God they still accept it as payment. But they're letting me trade my devaluating fiat currency for gold, the oldest known money to man. Karatbars is not like vitamin companies, nutrition companies, which, hey, I'm sure all those products are great, but those are all products that you purchase, or services, whatever kind of service it is. Those are all products and services that you spend your money with. You become a consumer with those companies. With Karatbars, you're not a consumer. You're a saver. And you are saving gold, which builds your net worth. And the best part, if you think that's good enough for you, I think that's good enough for me. Saving gold to build my net worth. Absolutely. I think that's good enough for me. It's never been a zero, okay? I can use that gold anywhere in the world, okay? Yeah, it's good enough for me. The question is it good enough for you to tell somebody else? Is it good enough for you to spread the word? To spread the word about the fiat currency and how that works. And to spread the word about there's an alternative. Okay, Karatbars. And Karatbars is not the only place in the world you can get gold from, but it's the only place I know of that's a wealth system, which means not only can you obtain gold, but you can also basically get paid for referring others to build their net worth by getting their own gold. I don't know where else you can do that. So that's why I'm sold on Karatbars. Karatbars is now has their own cryptocurrency. There's over 2,000, whatever. There's roughly 2,000 cryptocurrencies around the planet right now. Karatbars has the only one that I'm aware of that's backed by real physical gold. The other ones aren't backed by anything. And I've heard some of them being backed by gold contracts. You know what? A gold contract is the same as buying a mutual fund with gold and silver in it. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having the real deal gold in your hand at your house that you can physically have. If the grid goes down, you can go to your safe and grab some gold and use it as currency. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, I could go on all day talking about the Fed, talking about how much I love Karatbars, love the idea of buying gold, love the idea of increasing my net worth, eliminating my debt. I could talk about it all day. There'll be another video coming up, but for now, this is going to be it. Fiat currency. Go educate yourself. Hey, appreciate you guys watching. Talk to you later.